Yeah, Axel, I've got to give a trigger warning. Trigger warning. British. Nakibri, thank you for redeeming your points for an OWO. But recently, there was a guy who attended a convention where Tories were speaking, saying their minds, and it turns out that when you say really homophobic shit just out in the open, some people don't like that. So, until literally yesterday, I had no idea who Andrew Boff was. Until this moment right here.
You don't challenge this poison. Things just get worse.
Hold on, we need to actually increase the volume on this one so I can hear it. Let's go ahead and ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Here we go.
You don't challenge this poison. Things just get worse.
There's no such thing as gender
Whole
ideology.
institutions become captured.
No,
And of course,
this is
as always happens when the left gets the upper hand, those who fail to perform are
homophobic rant.
chased out of their jobs for saying that a man can't be a woman, scolded for rejecting that they're beneficiaries of institutions. You don't challenge this point.
So that was Andrew Boff heckling at this particular convention because, as you can tell, they were trying to do their anti-trans rant that they normally do in conservative circles, and he just decided that he did not want to deal with that shit right now. He's currently a member of the London Assembly. Said, how dare me what? How dare you be British? How dare you be British? Just... Now, the interesting thing is not that he was escorted out. Anybody saying anything possibly could have caused them to get escorted out of here, but it's very, very strange to me how much focus there was on this particular moment. Cameras just being at the ready for this. It's like there was a lot of stuff that happened before this, a lot of comments that he made before this, that I would like to have heard. And there's a little bit of that we might be able to hear when we see him getting escorted out of the conference.
My name's Andrew Boff. I'm a member of the London Assembly.
But you're a Tory, aren't you?
I'm a loyal Tory for 50 years.
So why are you saying that to Why are you saying that to
Trash.
Why are you saying
Trash about gender ideology is making our Conservative Party look transphobic and homophobic. This is not what the Conservative Party is about. We have a proud record of standing up for...
So, I like how he tries to say that the Tory party has a proud history of standing up for trans people, standing up for gay people. This may or may not be the case. I'm not actually any way knowledgeable about the Tory party in their current or in their older forms. This is outside of my realm of expertise. But I do find it interesting that Boff has been a Tory for 50 years, which is basically the British version of conservatives right now. They're the Conservative Party there. Red Sugar says it's all British here. He's argued, he's argued for legislation to make it to where cannabis is available to people as opposed to being criminalized, tries to help combat violent crime, tried to make it to where we actually had, or not we, but Britain had legal prostitution, but it was set to particular areas. In general, he's actually one of the few people, from what I've been able to see, who cares about the LGBTQ community in the Tory party. Now, it's agitating. It's very, very agitating to constantly see this type of garbage spewed by any conservative outlet, but especially a party that happens to be in power, all the damn time. About gender ideology, about gay people, about all this stuff. It seems to be the one thing that they all talk about. It said a Tino, a Tory name only. Well, no, from what I can understand, the Tory party were not this bad 20 or 30 years ago. Like, I don't I don't know, though, because again, this is outside of my realm of expertise. This is outside of my realm of expertise. I know that he considers himself a humanist. I know he considers himself an atheist. He's actually a member of Humanist UK. I know that he helped launch the Conservative Humanist Association. But outside of that stuff, I don't know a ton about him. I don't know a ton about the Tories as they were or as they are right now. I do feel very sad, though, that he's basically had his, oh shit, I'm batting for the wrong team moment. Like, there's only so much, this isn't what the Tory party is supposed to be, you can do before you realize, wait a minute, hold on, this is just what they are right now. Razor says, just like in the U.S. where the Democrats and Republicans drift apart, the Labour Party and the Tories did a similar drift apart. Gotcha. So not Alito levels of evil. No. He's definitely had his I've been batting for the wrong team movement. But I wonder what's going to happen as a result of this. Like, what the next thing is going to be for him. Apparently, he's been involved in a lot of shit politically. Said he should just switch. As much as I would like people to just switch, here's the thing that you got to remember. When people are part of a political party, not just they label themselves as broadly conservative, they label themselves as broadly liberal, but when they're actually part of a political party, you can't really enact change within that party from outside of the party. There's only two ways you can enact change within that party. One is being inside the party and making sure that change happens from within, which can be a very, very difficult thing to do, but we know it can happen because we know that that's literally what parties have done in the past. The only other way is to exit the party and then create such a pressure on that party that they have to change their tactics. The Southern strategy did not happen organically. The Southern strategy happened as a desperate attempt to hold on to a little bit of power for the Republican Party that used to be the Progressive Party of the United States. It was an attempt to shift their ideology entirely to appeal to a now disenfranchised group of people. Those are the only two ways I can see that you can actually change a party. So in the UK, there's another way, splinter a party into two. Splintering a party into two definitely works better there than it does here, but again, you would still have that either exude a shit ton of outside pressure or slowly change something from within. You would still only have those two options there. You can't just be progressive outside of the party and then the party will now change. You either are progressive inside the party and elicit change from there, or you create such an overwhelming force, the party loses power because of what you're doing. Neither of these are easy things to do. Neither of things are easy things to do at all. It said it's split and melded so many times. Yup. Thank you for the hydrate, Nami. Thank you very much for that. Actually, there is a little more on this that I didn't see before. But speaking to a news agency after he was removed from the party's conference, he criticized Miss Braverman's ridiculous language. She was the one speaking before. He said the Home Secretary was basically vilifying gay people and trans people by this attack on LGBT ideology or gender ideology. It's fictitious and it's ridiculous. It's a signal to people who do not like people who are LGBT+. He added that words like that in the forum of the party that I love need to be challenged. Asked if he had planned to protest in advance, he said he attended the speech to hear from her own mouth what her views were. As he was removed, he complained about the trash language Miss Braverman used in her address, and he said it's making the Conservative Party look transphobic and homophobic. So that's the bit that we actually heard. That's the bit that we actually heard. Is there anything from beforehand? London Assembly member Andrew Boff was escorted from the premises on Tuesday after heckling a home security agent. After heckling the home security during her speech. Home secretary, not security. I can't read. A member of the Capitol's Assembly since 2008, he was approached by officials and police when he heckled Miss Braverman after she said ministers must challenge the poison of talk subjects such as white privilege and gender ideology. That's when he said this was a gender ideology. We already saw that part. Mr. Boff, who has repeatedly vied to become a conservative candidate for mayor on the Capitol, is known for his socially liberal views. So he's just he's a liberal from within the party. I don't know much more about him than that. But I did want to make sure that I had that extra bit of information before this video closes out. Things I would like to do. I would like to see what he had said before this moment, because I want to hear the other stuff that he said there. Because it's interesting that he wasn't just trying to stand up for himself being gay, he was also trying to stand up for trans people in general, going, there's no such thing as gender ideology. Says similar story to the British conservative liars. But if you know much more about Andrew Boff, this is a smaller story of an incident that happened that put him on my radar. I don't actually know a ton about him, but this was an interesting moment that I wanted to look at, cover, and just give a bit of my perspective on. Especially since this guy was a loyal Tory supporter for the longest goddamn time. But if you guys have any more information here, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you haven't already. And as always, guys, insert end of video tagline here. Hey everybody, thank you for making it to the end of the video. I wanted to go ahead and showcase some fan art before we close things out, but this one is from Lady Ellesmere. It says, my first Suris fan art, if Suris was a Junimo. I made one for someone else I watched, so I figured I might as well do another for Suris, because I had the base already made. It's not the greatest, but I tried. Ended up having to re-upload as I messed up a few things on the first one. I'm gonna be honest, every single artist that says that the stuff they make isn't great and no, it's just not that wonderful, I'm sorry I'm not a great artist, stop. Y'all do amazing stuff, and I'm going to be honest, I'm just astounded that so many of you spend time on making stuff for me. So, thank you. The next one we have here is from The Erasure. I think some of Suris's bottled slimes are starting to mutate. Let's find as many as we can and bring them to his attention. I found this one. It's kind of creeping me out. Has someone else found any others? Whew. Jesus, that's creepy. The last one we have here is from Lunar Muse Serenity. First fan art in a while, I tried to draw the pixel model. Well, you know what, Lunar? Your fan art is always great, and I love seeing the different outfits you come up with. So thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, go ahead and drop it in Discord. But until we meet again, let's go ahead and close things out. Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability that Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Red Joker, Britzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you, I'm not saying that part, and Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.